I've spoken in the past about this idea of feeling like you're getting stuck, and in a previous video, you can check that one up here, I've talked about what the role of the right arm is in getting stuck, and I also in that video mentioned that there are actually three things that we can look at. One is what the right arm is, which is the previous video, and what today we're going to look at is what the role of the left arm is and how it moves and how its movement can give us the feeling of being stuck. And the third way is what the body does, which I'll cover in a separate video. But if we have a look at the left arm, this is especially relevant for younger players and players who are fairly thin, because they've generally got a little bit more mobility. The left arm can move across their chest quite easily just because of that extra range of movement that a bigger person won't have. But it is relevant for all of us as golfers. When I set myself up and swing the club back, if my arms are getting like too high or my left arm is getting too much across my chest, then it's almost like my arm feels like it's being trapped against my chest. When I swing the club down, now I've got to turn my body so much to try and get my body out of the way. Otherwise, I feel like I haven't got the room to swing through freely, and that's that feeling of downswing being stuck, being caused more by the left arm. So when the club swings back, if I swing the club back and mostly just use my arms, now my left arm has moved a long way across my chest. Now I'm exaggerating this and really not moving my upper body very much, but I do see that on a very, very regular basis. So let's have a look at some checkpoints to make sure that you're moving correctly so that we've got this better sequencing between the body and the arms. So first of all, if I just allow my arms to hang here, now from here I'm just going to have the feeling of using my lower body just to create a little bit of lower body movement through here. Now all I'm doing is I'm feeling like I'm just moving my hips a little bit and I've got movement through my feet, but you'll notice that my upper body's also moving. Now if I let my arms hang, that upper body movement is causing my arms to swing. Now it's a very different thing to me swinging my arms, which now you can see they're moving very, very independently to my upper body. But if I have the feeling that my upper body is causing my arms to swing, now I've got a different motion. So that gives me the feeling of not creating tension, having my arms work together with my upper body, but just having them work in sequence. So there's no tension through my shoulders, but the rate of movement with my arms and my upper body, while it's not the same, it is similar, because it's not the same because my arms are swinging. Now if I hold the club, and I can either hold the club with both palms facing out, or even holding it with left palm facing down, right palm facing up, and I do the same thing. So as I'm going back, my checkpoint here is that when I set myself up, the shaft of the club's parallel to my chest. If I do that, the club is no longer parallel to my chest. So as I'm moving back, and you can see from the side here as well, again if I do that, you can see the club's not parallel to my chest. But if I start creating this motion through here, as I'm turning my body, my arms and my upper body are swinging at basically the same rate. There might be a tiny little play with the movement of the shaft with my arms, again because there's no tension there blocking that motion. Now another way that you can do the same thing is if you've got, say, a range ball basket or a ball or something like that, a sizable ball, basketball size, soccer ball size, between your arms here, as you start back, that ball or basket is going to prevent the arms from moving across your chest. That gives you the feeling of the motion being much more in sync. So as I start back, my arms and my body are working more together. So when I do swing back, my left arm's not going to get stuck against my chest. Now a couple of other checkpoints you've got here is that a good thought is that when my hands get to chest height here, my chest is facing my hands. So if I get back to here, my hands are at chest height, but my chest is not facing my hands. Now it is. That also gives me the feeling of width in the swing without the stretch. When I swing the club down, from the top of my swing, if my arms have swung too far or too far across my chest, my body will have to turn a lot to try and get the club back to the ball. So now I've got excessive hip excessive chest rotation as I'm swinging down, which feels awkward for me. I'm not used to doing that, but for players who do it, obviously it feels normal, but they're still creating that compensating move. So while this is not strictly true in the golf swing, this is a great drill to do. What I just mentioned about swinging back and having my arms in front of my chest, it means that my hands in relation to my body haven't drifted much. So if I make practice swings where I feel like my hands stay in front of my chest or in front of my upper body, as I swing down, I feel like I'm keeping that movement here. So I'm getting this feeling of my arms and my upper body all working together, all my hands feeling like they're staying in front of my body. Now that might, for those who have been swinging the club back and having the arm across the chest, it may feel like your downswing is predominantly an arm movement. Now that will just be a short-term thing, and even if you record your golf swing while you feel like the arm movement is sort of predominant in your downswing, and you may even feel like your arms are actually leading the downswing, it's likely that you'll see that's not actually occurring, that the lower body will move first, followed by the upper body and the arms. The feeling might be different, but we still want the correct sequencing. But it might feel like going through those drills that what you're actually doing and what you feel like you're doing are a little bit different. So let's see if we can sort of put all that together. Avoid my left arm feeling like it's being trapped against my chest. So I certainly didn't have that feeling of any tension across my chest or across my shoulder here, either during the backswing or the downswing. So practicing that movement, either checking the other video, having a look if there's a right arm contribution to this feeling getting stuck, or measuring against what you've seen in this video to check whether there's any left arm contribution to feeling stuck, it'll get you unstuck.